they suggested that I reprise my London phone box project here on a German phone box. And I said, why not? I'll try. So I made the paintings that'll fit in their phone box. I'm still seeing if they're going to work. But it's the same concept, which is nice for me to do the same concept, different iterations, different cities, different contexts. So the concept of the breathing room of the place, you know, the figure in the phone booth in the busy public street who's just being quiet and still is, you know, I think it travels anywhere, should. I don't see why it wouldn't. Maybe it belongs more on the street than in an art show, but these things we put in art shows are references to what I put in the street, so I'm fine putting it in an art show. The first major terrorist attack in Paris, after Charlie Hebdo, the one at the Bataclan and the other one, that happened, and all of a sudden what I was planning to do in London seemed totally inappropriate with what's going on in the world now. So I started planning this breathing room project where these people usually are involved in some sort of spiritual practice, praying, meditating. The ones in the German ones are these ascetic Indian kind of shaman guys. So it's just addresses the sort of culture of terror that's going on. And from when I started the project, it was the Paris attacks, and then by the time I finished it and put it up in London, it happened in Istanbul, Nice, Orlando. There's a litany of mass murders that have happened since I started Breathing Room. Well, actually, I think it would function whether you knew what it was about or not. I think, you know, it's street art. The fact that it's on the street is enough for me. You know, I mean, that's as political as I needed to get. But lately, as street art has gotten more and more popular and more well known, I'm using it as a bit of a platform for my own political beliefs. But I think at first contact with the piece, I don't think it matters what it's about. I don't think you need to know that that's what this guy meditating in a phone booth is about, or the other things I've done. I think they're supposed to function well on their own. After Breathing Room, I moved on to like the UN report about global warming, where basically they said it's irreversible. This is maybe 2 years old by now, but they said if things don't change by 2017, it's irreversible. It's almost 2017. So I'm amazed at the level of denial in the world about climate change and global warming. And I don't want to be a scold or anything like that, so I'm doing a fairly kind of humorous take on you know, the fact that we're all going to be underwater soon, or most of these coastal places that people like to live in are going to be impacted by climate change. So I'm doing, in Dresden, I did a series of do not enter signs with scuba divers or snorkelers on them. I did another thing a couple weeks ago in Worcester, Massachusetts, which is windows with people snorkeling or scuba diving behind them. So it's kind of a mini project I'm doing at the end of the year. great thing about street art is there's no power on high making decisions on what's good and what's bad and what's proper and what isn't. There's no one who's ever been able to tell me what to do because, I'll just do whatever I want anyway. I'm amazed that they invite me to these things, actually, because I don't do really installations. I go out and vandalize the city. And this happens 2 or 3 times a year. I get invited to something. There's 20 artists doing nice, commission murals or whatever around the city. And then me, which they just set loose. And they're sponsoring me to vandalize. And no one ever says anything bad about it. It's not, the city government never calls, the festival and says, "What's this guy doing? How could you let him do this?" Never. I've never gotten anything but positive feedback. But it is a little disconnected from what they're doing in the hall and what I do. And, it seems very strange to me that they invite me, but I'm not complaining. This is like a museum show. This is like a rehearsal for a big museum show. This could just move to like a major, American or European museum from here. It should. So everyone seems to have brought their A game to this, and it's exciting, and it has that thing of a good museum show where you go, oh, there's that's amazing, wow, cool, and then you go over there and go, whoa, like that, and then you go down the hall a little bit, and you're like, oh, there's that guy, one of his, whoa, he's really, so it's sort of like a layered succession of pleasant surprises, like the best museum shows.